Hey there, surgical trainees and aspiring surgeons. Welcome back to our comprehensive series on essential surgical skills. Now, let's dive right back into our current video on suturing technique for surgery trainees. We have more valuable information and demonstration coming your way. So the first topic that I want to introduce to our trainees is that the rule of halves. So whenever you are suturing a long length of a wound, say simply you are closing the skin wound. So friends, just divide the length of the wound in two halves, and first stitch you apply is in the exactly in the middle of the wound. Just follow this step, and this is a very interesting concept, friends, and as you grow in your surgical career, you will understand to avoid the undue tension at the edges and to have an equal distribution of tension. This rule of half is a very good suturing technique, and I want all my trainees, all my viewers to follow this from the beginning only. After giving the first stitch, now you have two another halves. So again, divide the wound length in two halves and come to the half. So again, remember that you don't need to apply too many stitches. Approximately 1 inch to 1.2 inch distance between the two stitches is sufficient, and you keep dividing the length of the incision in these halves, and you will realize that there is a very good apposition of the wound, and this can be interrupted or this can be a vertical mattress suture, which we have already discussed. So again, a new half. The next concept for today is simple running suture. This is also one good addition to the armamentarium of all surgery trainees. So, like you are suturing a long wound where you want to save that time, then this is a very good suture. There are less indication, but the results are equally good as we compare with the interrupted suturing techniques. So the first suture is simple, interrupted suture, and we don't cut the long end. And now we progress on the wound length. So then, like, the entry and exit points are at the same point, and in a similar way we keep progressing. How to enter the wound at exactly at the right angle, how to follow the curve of needle, that we have already talked in the previous talks, previous two videos. So I'll skip that part, and this is how we will keep progressing. So this is very good again technique, though it is followed less, but it is must to have in the armamentarium of all budding surgeons. So like a way we keep progressing, and good apposition and save time, and last suture we apply the knot. The next technique we'll share will be the next suturing technique will be simple running locking suture. So friends, it is just a simple variant of the simple running suture, but here we apply a lock between the two suture techniques, so that if somehow the suture get basically you divide the suture accidentally somewhere in the middle, so the whole length of the suture will not get loose. So you simply follow this technique. You make a loop, this C loop towards you, and then you come inside the loop, and it's the same technique which we follow while doing the lap suturing. And one of your assistant has to keep this thread under tension. Here I am using the pin for keeping under tension, and you keep progressing. Again, see that again, just notice that I am following this loop and coming inside the loop and progressing as required. So again, for long suture, especially where there is a bleeding and you want a apposition and you don't want the suture to get loosened, then this is a good technique. Like you are initially you are suturing the scalp with a lot of bleeding, then this suture is very handy. Again, the entry and exit, here for the sake of demonstration I am taking the bites to the two sides of the incision at the same time, but it's not recommended, and you have to practice that. You have to take one side at a time, then come out on other side, and just don't follow this thing. So the next part, friends, will be subcuticular suture. Again, it is a very good technique, And here, for the cosmetic result, you don't want any suture mark. We start with simple inverted or buried suture. So that we have already discussed in the part 2. So buried suture is applied near to the edge of the wound, and then we divide the shorter end. Now we will basically take a bite beneath the knot, so that knot get buried and will come out exactly at the end of this incision between epidermis and dermis. So subcuticular suture or the basically intradermal suture, they are same suture. So this subcutaneous suture, subcuticular suture. Now the technique or trick here will be that you start taking the first bite as close to the end of the wound and take smaller bites. And for taking smaller bites, I have already discussed that then you hold the smaller length of the needle closer to the tip, that is anterior 1/3 2/3. Then you keep progressing. As you are near to the edge of the wound, then you take smaller bites, and as you progress, then you can take bigger bite, and again when you are approaching the other end, then you have to take smaller bites. So first buried knot, then come at the end, and then we keep progressing. So all the bites take smaller bites, and all the bites are basically through the dermis or epidermis dermis junction. Don't take part of the skin. And again, trick here is the next suture is where is your exit point. So you simply cross the suture to opposite side, and where you have exited on other side, that will be the entry point on your for other side. I hope you have got the point. So like way we keep progressing. And friends, just remember, as you keep progressing, keep learning, you will find your own unique way, your unique rhythm, and most of you will modify this technique according to your own comfort and your own experience. And these basically are your basically starting point or a simple guide. And then again, you have to learn and do better and better than us. And that is the basically whole aim of teaching. So like way now we have reached the end of the this wound margin. So there are different technique. Now we'll share all the techniques with you guys. So one is that you then take another bite, which is take part of the subcutaneous tissue and come just right at the corner of this wound, and you take a basically apply a knot, that you simply knot, then you come beneath the knot and through the skin and cut the basically this thread closer to the skin. So I hope you notice that we have simply applied a simple knot and then cut. And another technique for you guys will be, so when you have reached the end, we don't apply any knot, we simply come out. This is think this is called jet technique. Then you take then again a bite closer to the skin and another bite closer to the skin. So the sort of jet you make, and there's no knotting here, and it will hold beautifully. And this is one of my favorite technique, and it won't slip out if you have followed this technique already. Another method of closure for subcuticular technique will be, you can simply apply a knot on this thread and pull the end closer to the wound, and you cut it here. So this is another technique, and it will automatically fall, because most of the time here, for the sake of demonstration, we are using Proline. Otherwise you will be using the monocryl, so it will automatically fall. Another technique for you guys will be, if you don't want to apply any knot, then you start the basic closer, subcuticular closer from one end, and come through the normal skin and leave this short length of the suture. Then you continue this, and suppose you have suture the whole length and you come to the another end, then again you come out of this another end and keep basically a roll of gauze. Here, for the sake of demonstration, I am using this basically suture leaflet. Otherwise you will keep here roll of gauze and loosely tie this two ends over this roll of gauze and apply the dressing. And you can simply cut these basically suture after 3-4 days or 5 days, and it will heal beautifully. So friends, just remember that every stitch you make brings you one step closer to mastery. Embrace the challenge, embrace the journey, and become the skilled surgeon you aspire to be.